Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Watch Athlete Podcast and another episode of This Week in Sports. This is episode 4 of This Week in Sports. We are on football season, week 11, to my knowledge. And yeah, we're going to hop in with football, and we're going to talk about some sports later. If you're new around here, we're the Watch Athlete Podcast. We have mainline podcast episodes where we talk about pretty much whatever. This is This Week in Sports. We kind of just talk about what happened in the last week of sports. We record this on a Thursday. We post it on a Friday. And yeah, I think that's about it. A bunch of college guys, and we're just going to get right into it. So football, week 11. We're going to recap some of the stuff that happened this weekend. And the first thing I have to recap is that Bills game versus that Vikings
game. Of the year, not even close.
Yeah.
Like, truly not even close. That was probably the wildest game from start to finish I think I've ever seen. I don't think I'm ever going to see another game where someone butt fumbles a snap and then ends up tying the game and then sends it to OT. Then it was just, and also the Justin Jefferson catch, like, there's so much that happened in like such a short amount of time that I can't even wrap my head around this.
Yeah, but Bills third in the AFC East.
Yeah.
No one expected that.
Yeah. No, and like it's
bad.
It's tough to be like, well, you lost the game that almost went to overtime. Like some weird things happen. Like Justin Jefferson doesn't make that catch. You're 7-2, but like reality is you're 6-3.
Yeah.
So like now you have the Jets who are ahead of you, and who like they're not tied with the Jets. They're behind the Jets 2 games because of the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So it's like they're half a game back because one team has a bye, one team hasn't had a bye yet. But now they're 1.5 games back to the tiebreaker. So it's like it's deeper than that. They already lost some divisional in game house, and now they're playing this game in the snow coming up.
Just got moved to Detroit.
Oh yes, I did hear about that. Yeah, one of my people I know is going to that. But so it's not gonna be in the snow anymore.
Well, it'll probably still snow in Detroit.
Well, Detroit is in the dome.
Oh, it's in a dome.
Yeah.
Oh.
Devin Singletary and Nick Chubb are shorter than 6 feet. So there was like the meme saying like Nick Chubb running into the end zone. It was like the square.
So basically, he would have been completely on this.
Yeah.
That's such a missed opportunity, man.
I really wanted
the Bills.
To
the Bills. I think the Bills would have been 6-4 if that happened.
I wanted the snow game of the century.
They would have signed LaShawn McCoy for a 1-day contract.
Dude,
Snow Shady
in the snow
Snow Shady.
He is disgusting.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, the Bills interesting right here. I mean, Josh Allen kind of regressed a little bit in terms of like his turnovers. He's got into a big rut.
Elbow injury.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the decision making on that final.
That's the thing. It's like
he's back to like turnover after turnover.
But he's going back to the
And like I think it's just the problem is he's a little bit arrogant. He knows he can make all the throws, but he's forcing it. He's not thinking about it.
It's like,
because he's trying to win the game.
So yeah. Patrick Peterson, like anyone watching that game could
read that.
Yeah, the safety was right there.
Yeah.
And he just threw it.
Well, and you didn't need a force right there. I mean, you look at the situation there. You're down 3. You can tie the game. You're in field goal range. All you need to do is run the ball a few times. All you need to do is do a quick slant. Make sure you don't go back anymore. Make sure you don't do anything stupid. You at least get to OT.
Yeah.
And he throws the ball into heavy coverage, and it's not like a bad throw. He meant to throw the ball in that location. Like it had good velocity. It wasn't like a lofty throw. It wasn't tipped at the line or anything. It was he had velocity. He had accuracy on the throw. Just he didn't read coverage.
Yeah, because the thing is that Gabe Davis was behind Patrick Peterson, but he just threw it to the wrong spot.
Yeah,
because like if he threw it up and over Patrick Peterson with some touch, that's Gabe Davis back of the end zone getting me more points in fantasy. Like. That's fine. I won last week. It's fine. I've been on a winning streak. I've been happy. But yeah, it's crazy. The Bills were far and away the front runners to win the Super Bowl. Now it's not.
No,
they dropped into power rankings to 4.
I personally look, their ceiling is higher than any other team. Mm-hmm. When they are firing on all cylinders, they are the best team in the NFL.
For sure.
But are they going to come out and play like that?
No,
that's the question, because now we don't know. Because if they can get shut down by the Jets, if they can get shut down by the Vikings,
what's going to happen when they play the Chiefs?
It's either going to be MVP Allen or 2017 Allen.
Yeah, and I mean this happened. Like it's drawing parallels. They beat the Chiefs last year, and they played dog for a lot of games. And they got hot towards the end of the season, and they lost to the Chiefs. And they didn't make they've got to do something here. And this team's been good for a couple of years. Like. It'll be very interesting. Like
they're Super Bowl windows now.
They have an important stretch of these next 2-3 games are very important.
They have to win them.
They have to win them, especially. And we're gonna go right into it. This team here, the Dolphins, are 7-3.
They look
good. They're not just 7-3. They're 7-0 with Tua.
Yeah,
So the only games they've lost are the games where they've had to play with a backup quarterback.
Or
Yeah.
Tua gets destroyed.
exactly. But like, obviously everybody's memeing on him because like, oh, he can't throw the ball down the field, whatever. He's throwing nukes to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Like that team, I think they're more like obviously ceiling of the Bills higher than anybody else, but consistently,
Yeah.
the Dolphins are just good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
always, like they don't make stupid mistakes. Like their defense is opportunistic. Like their offense, when firing, you have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Mhm.
There's no way you can double both of them.
Nope.
Like it's ridiculous.
And Mike McDaniel is that madman somehow.
Exactly. And then, like, they have Raheem Mostert in the backfield, but because they don't have to rely on him like the 49ers did in the run game, he's able to just crack off.
Well, now they have Jeff Wilson.
They have two guys, both from the 49ers offense, that know McDaniel's offense.
Right. And let's talk about these games they lost, right? They lose 12 points to the Bengals. They don't have Tua. They get Tua, and then he goes out really early on. So
essentially without Tua.
yeah, so they lose that game without Tua. They lose to the Jets by 23 points completely without Tua.
Yeah.
And the Jets are pretty good, as it turns out.
Yeah, they are scrappy.
And they lose that Vikings game that they don't have Tua for.
Yeah.
And they lose by 8 points. Only 8 points, and the Vikings are really good. Like, they've lost to three.
Was this 1 o'clock Kirk or primetime Kirk?
Unsure about what time Kirk was cooking here, but
You have a phone.
yeah.
He had it open. I don't know.
Just go.
But yeah, they've lost to 3 good teams without their quarterback. And it's just like I think Dolphins are a really good football team, and I think it's very kind of flips on the head. We thought about that AFC East was all the Bills. And,
we do know that the NFL does run through the East at this point.
Yeah,
because both divisions,
all 4 teams in the AFC East would make the playoffs, and 3 of the 4 would make it in the NFC East.
Yeah, the NFL runs through the East now.
Yeah,
West Coast is gone.
Let's go. Listen, I think if there's anything right now that we can agree on as NFC East competitors, because you're obviously a Giants fan and Raj and I are Eagles fans, it's cool to see the NFC East. Like, I'm proud of the NFC
The NFC
East.
Beast is back.
I'm proud of the NFC
again?
East. I'm not proud of the Giants. I'm not proud of the Cowboys. I'm just glad of
the competitive nature.
Yeah, the competitive nature. The fact that we're all good.
Exactly.
You like to see good competition. But what I don't like to see is the Philadelphia Eagles losing to the Washington Redskins on Monday night.
Commanders.
At Monday, 8:20
The
p.m.
Dan Snyders.
I usually don't do that. It's funny. Monday, 8:20 p.m. prime time to lose your undefeated season.
Tough. Was it at the link too?
Yeah.
You
know, I when I heard the little stat about what they did to the Steelers, they did the same thing at Heinz. Same game time.
It's the Commanders, or it's the unnamed football team in Washington on Monday night against an undefeated team.
And specifically undefeated Pennsylvania teams.
Undefeated Pennsylvania teams, yes.
I think what that boils down to is the Eagles needed to know that they were going to get the best from every team from here on out, because every team wanted to be the team that spoiled the Eagles.
It was a trap game.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are going to play every single trap game from here on out. They were, because they were undefeated, and they didn't come prepared. And what sucks is I said it wasn't like we played them on the road, 1 o'clock game slate, didn't come ready.
Just like a random
Monday night prime time football at home to save to have an undefeated season, go 9-0 against a division rival, and to lose that game is humiliating. And we can get into all the nuances, the refs, the fumbles, the turnovers, and whatnot.
Run defense.
But run defense. Overall,
speaking of the run defense,
the team just didn't play well at all. Yeah, and you can go, just go, take it.
And then Howie took that personally and said, "I'm just going to sign the Avengers of the D line."
Yep.
And picks up
the Dominican Sue,
yes.
and then also a D tackle from the Chargers.
Yes.
Who was a Pro Bowler twice. I don't know what his name was, but yes.
It's unfortunate. The Eagles' run defense was really much better with Jordan Davis, and he's hurt right now. Mm-hmm. But they pick up 2 defensive tackles. They should help the run game.
They really should.
And what's interesting, though, is I was going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it now. They played the Colts this week. Colts won last week.
Jeff Saturday might be the best head coach on the planet. You don't know. If the Eagles,
I'm nervous. If the Eagles lose against the Colts, I think they're on the road. If the Eagles lose at Indianapolis against Jeff Saturday and that team, and we go down to 8-2, it is going to be carnage.
Yeah.
If you go down to 8-2 and the Vikings win, so they jump you for the 1 seed, it's going to get loud.
And do we really have a reason to believe that they're going to go 8-2? No.
No,
Like,
absolutely not.
they-
They should beat the ever living crap out of the Colts.
Yes.
With Shaquille Leonard
Yep.
go out for the season.
Yep.
They have
Matt Ryan's at QB.
Matt Ryan's like corpse.
They have
is
one of
at
the worst
quarterback.
offensive lines in the league.
Well, because that's the thing. It's the highest paid offensive line, but it's one of the worst performing offensive lines.
Yep.
So they should walk in there and beat the living crap out of the
Jonathan
Colts.
Taylor is just not good anymore.
But Jeff Saturday.
Dude, he just had like 130 yards rushing. I
But
wouldn't
Jeff
say that.
Saturday.
Yeah.
It's the
Might have
Raiders.
turned to the
Okay,
Raiders.
it's the Raiders.
That is true. The
It is.
Raiders are awful.
I'm just saying, like, out of pure just like being an Eagles fan and overreacting, I'm nervous that we could lose this week.
I will say. So
Oh,
I will
yeah.
give you guys one thing. It is a lot. I feel like now that you have lost, though, the weight of the undefeated season has been lifted. So you don't have to like focus and worry about that as much, and you can play a lot more like, you play a lot looser. You play it like, okay, we don't have to worry about losing. We can go out there and just play to win. It's not we can't lose. We're playing to win.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that is like a good mindset that they should have.
Will they have it though? Who knows?
I'm fine. We needed this. At least it was. I mean, as much as it sucks that it was the Commanders, we
Whatever.
needed this.
Really sucks that it's Commanders. But moving on, I wanted to also talk about the AFC West because what changed from what we thought preseason.
We thought that was going to be the bloodbath.
The Raiders, who made the playoffs, the Denver
Dumpster
Broncos, who were good and finally got their quarterback,
So-
the Chargers with Justin Herbert ascension, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs. There's one team that's good, and it's still the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, the
The
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Who would have thought?
We need to find this clip of me saying like before preseason, the AFC West is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Because
It's the opposite of crazy.
Derek Carr is the only quarterback that got a top tier receiver and got worse.
Yeah.
Devontae is just probably like Aaron.
And do you guys hear the
I want you
report?
back.
The Raiders don't have money to fire
To
Josh McDaniels.
Yes, they don't have enough money to
That's-
buy out his contract
Yes.
and fire him.
So, like, he's stuck there.
So listen, guys, if you want to donate to the Kickstarter to fire Josh McDaniels from the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm going to start it right now.
The fraud alert about Josh McDaniels is crazy.
It really is.
Belichick made him.
He was a system coordinator. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Assistant coordinator. Wow.
Yeah. It was Belichick, Brady.
Maybe
and
this is why Belichick didn't believe if he needed like an actual like OC
because he knew that
because he knew he did it for the last like 10 years anyway.
exactly. He's like, McDaniels sucks without Brady anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Oh man. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I mean the Raiders and the Broncos are officially out of it, and the Chargers are like one loss and they're like pretty much out of it. It feels like. And they play the Chiefs this weekend, so
GG's. Bye Chargers.
Well, speaking of Brady, first game in Germany this week. That was pretty hype.
yeah, that was pretty hype. Them singing Country Roads.
That was
That was-
electric.
Yeah,
It was all of the German because they didn't know any of the other words besides the chorus.
yeah.
And they just started singing, and then it was while they snapped the ball. They just kept singing.
Yeah.
Like didn't even break stride. That was one of the most electric things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, I think if you're the NFL, I mean, I don't know what behind the scenes looked like, but from the fan perspective, like
That was
I think
cool.
the Munich Germany game is here to stay.
Yeah, I think they will definitely be sending more games to Germany.
Yeah.
I think they would be very stupid if they did.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Bucks won, which is actually kind of a big deal.
Brady's
Tom Brady
undefeated.
2-0 is 2-0 since getting divorced.
Yeah, 4-0 international games.
4-0 in international games. Yeah, he
Yep.
And
is.
now that he knows that Giselle's out with her jujitsu training,
Trainer.
oh my god,
We didn't need to bring that up.
Brady might just win the Super Bowl at this point.
Yeah, no.
That would be epic if like
That would be
he's fighting
so
her.
funny if he went completely undefeated after getting divorced and won Super Bowl MVP again.
I would hate that so much.
I would hate it, but the memes,
Dude,
come
those
after
would be
it,
fire.
dude, the memes outweigh
The memes or my personal opinions.
Nah, memes. Those have got it way more.
NFL memes, ghetto Gronk. They're gonna go insane if that happens.
You know damn well he would beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl too.
Yeah, I
That
know.
would be even worse.
Them were
How
the
he can't beat
Vikings.
the Eagles in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
wait.
Oh wait, they're both
Yeah.
NFC. I forgot he wasn't the
Yeah, because
Patriots
of the
anymore.
NFC.
But yeah, we're already running over time. Of course, this is sports.
Of course.
Oh, well.
Big Thursday night football game tonight.
Yes.
Titans, Packers. I don't think like it's like oh well these teams aren't actually that like it's like oh two bad
It's
teams.
make or break.
Actually, the Titans are 6-3 and the Packers are either fighting for their season.
4 and
They're 4 and 6.
Yeah.
So they're either fighting to like stay in the conference because we gotta remember here the NFC East is not that good. I mean the NFC is not that good.
Yeah.
So like
They're
them
fighting
getting to
for relevance.
500 would be a big deal.
Christian
They're getting to 5 and
Watson.
6 here. And again, we're gonna think like you said, is Christian Watson him?
He
I
might
think
be.
he
3
might be,
touchdowns.
3 touchdowns is no joke.
Yeah.
That's legit. And finally, because he had a bad drop at the beginning of the game, but I think after he caught that first one for a touchdown, it's like, oh, this guy's going to be a dog.
He
Yeah.
got his
Like
stride.
now that he's like finally clicking, because there was all that stuff about like Jamar Chase when he was like, oh, he's dropping everything, whatever. But then it just started to click for him, and then it just worked.
Yeah, and I think like you saw his body language in that game. Aaron Rodgers' body language.
He was fired up.
Fired up.
He
So
threw a nasty block on somebody
Yeah.
too. That was hilarious.
I saw him running over there, and I was like, "Is he throw a block?" I was like,
yeah.
and then he like leaned into it. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my goodness!"
Granted, he almost got ran over. But
He
it's
did,
fine.
yeah. And he's getting his fist pumped back
Yeah, he's
going
getting
together.
fired.
It's already on someone's team in our league, and it's on the bench, and it's on one of our auto draft teams.
That's not. It's on my team.
Thanks for being off topic. Anyway,
You have Christian
um,
Watson?
Yeah,
and I wanted to quickly mention Justin Fields. What he has done the last 3 weeks has like completely changed everyone's opinion on him.
This
Like,
ain't your team.
it's
bud.
insane. Raj.
Oh, is that? Oh, sorry. Whatever. Whatever. Sorry. Oh, I picked him up in another league. Sorry. But yes, Justin Fields is the next Lamar Jackson, apparently.
But better?
But low key, maybe a little better. I don't know.
Too early to say.
I-
Watch next week.
I think he's
he'll
on
die.
he's on a way worse team than Baltimore, but like
I think it's definitely too early to tell, but like he's been crazy the last 3 weeks.
him, the way he runs is insane.
Yeah.
He like pulls away from corners that are 10
Mhm.
yards down the field.
Yeah.
Like that is wild.
He's wicked fast.
Yeah, it's like watching him. It's like I don't understand how this guy's just running past because it doesn't even look like he's moving that fast.
Yeah.
But he's just like strides out and he's gone.
It's crazy.
The era of the pocket passer's over.
You have to be a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, I feel
Yeah.
like. You have to be able to run. Like
Yeah.
unless you're truly like the best pocket passer.
You
ever.
have to be a dynamic scrambler at minimum.
at minimum. Yeah.
You look at guys like Patrick Mahomes who aren't runners, but dynamic scramblers, really good at scrambling.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's, I wouldn't even consider him a running quarterback, but he's a really good
Oh, he is
scrambler.
a running
Dude.
quarterback. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I think he's a pass first quarterback though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I was about to say that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to tackle Ford F-150.
No.
Okay.
He's definitely like he runs as a quarterback. I'm saying that's not his first look.
Like he is a passing
Well,
quarterback,
yeah.
but he's a true dual threat.
Yeah, he's both. Like Lamar, Justin Fields are
I mean,
guys who
even-
run.
Okay,
Malik
even
Willis.
look at somebody like Daniel Jones. He's not a great thrower, but as a runner,
Yeah.
he creates that like
Yeah.
it's like okay, like we can actually run a read option with him.
Yep.
Like and doing that in the pros is ridiculous
Mhm.
because like that just doesn't happen.
And when you have an RPO where you can either hand it off to the RB, read option it yourself, or
Yeah.
you could throw it,
Exactly.
it's like how are you going to defend that?
Exactly.
What are the pocket passers left? Brady, Rogers.
Brady, Rogers,
But
Matt
even
Ryan.
Rodgers is a really
Matt
good
Ryan,
scrambler.
Well, Matt Ryan just ran for 39 yards this
Yeah.
week. He was hauling.
Corpse of Matt Ryan. actually
He's just
did.
Yeah. That's going to do it for football. It'll be interesting. I think like in 2 weeks we're going to get a little bit more of an idea about what's going on in the
this
league.
season has been on crack.
It's
Yeah.
been on crack, but like in 2
Script
weeks we're really going to see where some lines
Yes.
are. I mean,
yeah.
if you start seeing the Eagles at like, we're not going into it too much. But
No,
like,
no,
start
you
seeing
can't
the
even speak that into existence.
Yeah.
Stop,
Okay,
stop.
I'm shy, be quiet. Basketball. I can start with my guy, Joel Embiid. 59, 11, 8, and 7 to be one of the highest rated games in the last 40 years for a regular season
Are the
player.
Sixers good again?
No, not quite. But Joel Embiid is really good. And I just had to mention that because that game was incredible. I don't know if anyone watched it.
No.
No?
No.
No? Okay, but trust me, guys, you're listening here, you're watching because you like sports. You're a real sports person. That was really cool. Anyway, we'll move on. Yesterday, Steph dropped 50 points. They
Okay.
lose. They lose to the Suns. They go down to 6-9 on the season after winning an NBA title last year.
They're fine.
Why are they fine?
It's the Warriors. They'll somehow, some way squeeze their way into the playoffs.
They're going to somehow learn how to play defense. Klay Thompson will learn how to shoot the basketball.
No, they're gonna
Draymond Green will go back in time and not punch Jordan Poole in the face. And James Wiseman, who was the number 2 overall pick in the draft, will somehow not get called back up from the G League that he just got placed on, and maybe he'll actually be an NBA
No,
player.
they're just tanking for the next guy, whatever his name is. That's just all they're doing. They're just not playing defense because they just don't want to. They're just like, oh, well, we're trying. We're putting up points.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, we're putting up points. We're trying. We're not tanking. We're just bad. And then suddenly, oh, look at that. They get the best player ever. Then, oh, they suddenly know how to play defense again.
I've never heard this. This is crazy.
I don't know.
You heard it here first.
It's a little
A
suspect.
Golden State Warrior conspiracy. Anywho,
Are the Lakers still trash?
Lakers are still trash.
Alright,
The Brooklyn Nets, they got really good after they fired Steve Nash and Kyrie Irving said those anti-Semitic things and then left the team. They were doing really good, and then they lost 2 straight after giving up 153 points to the Kings in regulation. And then
Awful.
And then now maybe Kyrie's back, maybe not. Does KD want to be there? KD said that quote. Well, I don't have the quote in front of me, but he said something like, kind of quote, I'm playing with Joe Harris, Nick Claxton, this other guy, and this other guy. And, I mean, everyone knows what we want to do. It's all about number 7.
Yeah.
And pretty much called his players trash.
Yeah, pretty much.
And said, what do you want him to do? Which, like, yeah, but you
kind of
shouldn't say
but don't say that.
Yeah, but don't say that. So I don't really know what's going on with the Nets. Like, they won a couple games
They're
after
a
the
dumpster fire.
Yeah, they won a couple games, and then Ben Simmons, man. Man,
Can I be Ben Simmons? Like, he's getting paid millions to run around on the court. Like, he doesn't do anything.
yeah,
He is 6'10" and doesn't take contested layups.
yeah,
Like, you are 6'10".
it's bad.
Go for the rim.
Ben Simmons had a quote the other day too about like his play, and I forget what he said, but it was
He
funny.
said, I'm a competitor.
Yeah, he said I'm a
It's like,
competitor.
no, you're not. Stop lying.
Yeah,
Like, maybe in God, but not here.
I mean, Tyler go crazy on duos.
Literally.
yeah. I want to talk about Hawks a little bit because the Hawks, no one's been really talking about them.
Are they like
Sneaky 9-6,
Yeah.
3 seed in the East right now.
Yeah.
Dejounte Murray, Trae Young playing pretty well together. Again, there's a lot of season left, but I think it was really interesting because the Hawks have notoriously started off really slow during the season, and now they've got a new guard in the backcourt with Trae, and suddenly it's like, oh, you're starting off the season pretty well, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then the Celtics, we talked a lot about the Bucks being like, well, the Bucks are just an example. Look at them. They have 3 losses and they're top of the Eastern Conference. Fun fact, not anymore. The Celtics lead 12-3. They don't have Robert Williams yet. They fired Ime Udoka. They benched him for the year because of the whole like scandal. And then new head coach be like, oh man, it's going to be all bad. Nope, 12-3, lead the conference, no issues.
Yeah.
It's absolutely like ridiculous to see a well-run organization. Look at that.
Like, when you look at them, when you look at the Bucks, when it's just like they are so clearly run properly, it's like they are just head and shoulders better than other teams. It's like, oh, fine, maybe they don't win the championship every single year, but it's like they will come back and they will be contenders for that championship for years to come.
Yep. And then I gotta talk a little bit about my Phoenix Suns.
How are they doing?
Still doing good. Still, I think they're 9-6. Still in the top, third place in the West. They're still being led by the Portland Trail Blazers, who are still having a great season thus far. But
How are the Jazz doing?
the Jazz they've fallen off a little bit.
Damn it!
The Jazz have fallen off a little
the
bit.
meme team
But
is gone.
They're still in the playoffs right now. Though. They're still like 10-6.
Okay.
They've played a lot of games.
They have, yeah.
They've played 16 games, I think, which is still quite a bit at this point.
Yeah.
Because like the Hawks are 9-6. That's 15. They're like one less, and there's some other teams that have played less games. But yeah, that's kind of the basketball update. I mean, obviously it's a long season, so we'll get into it more when like it gets a little bit closer and things.
Really,
start
when
going
like
crazy.
football ends and it's like
Yeah.
it's just basketball, that's really when it starts to pick up. Really.
But I'm gonna say it here on the pod just because I feel like if I don't say it, and then no one's gonna be like, "Oh, you don't have receipts."
Yeah.
Joel Embiid, this might be like an inflection point where like he's had 4 days off. He could come back. I feel like he could theoretically come back from this game and just go crazy for like a month and just have one of the most historic ones basketball ever played. Like
But, you know, Jokic will win MVP over him, obviously.
Jokic.
Same thing.
And no, the Nuggets are not that good to be sure. Jokic is not even averaging over 20 points per game.
No. How the Cavs doing?
Cavs, they're falling off a little bit too. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Whatever.
But
Sorry.
they'll bounce back, maybe, hopefully. I don't like Donovan Mitchell, so I don't really care.
No.
That's it for the podcast. Oh, wait, no. World Cup starts on Sunday.
I was just about to say that.
It's like, I feel like
Soccer.
I feel like the World Cup's in the back of my mind for like a couple months now, and like I feel like finally it's here.
Yes.
And it's at a weird time, but it's
really
here.
is, yeah.
But yeah, anyone got predictions? Who's gonna win?
USA! Yeah, if we win, it's called soccer.
I'm putting my money on England.
Yeah, probably.
Germany. Did they
Okay.
even qualify?
I mean, they're Germany, probably.
Yeah,
I'm guessing they're always good at soccer.
but yeah, it's exciting.
Brazil.
It's exciting. What's really cool though is like I feel like this is a good time for Americans to like get more like invested because coming to us in 2026. So
Yeah.
I
We
was
do
like,
have a pretty solid team.
yeah, we do have a solid team. We should be able to get out of our group and then make some things happen. So it'll be fun. We'll cover a little bit of the World Cup when we're on here.
Yes.
And yeah, and Raj wanted to make a little bit note about esports.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to talk about it, there's proximity chat in Warzone 2 now, so it's very heinous.
So that's not what esports is. We're going to ignore what he just said.
I don't have anything else about esports. I don't have anything going on.
So there's a difference between...
I know Call of Duty League is an esport league,
There
whatever.
you
I
go.
know.
There you go.
I was just saying that as a meme earlier. You're actually bringing it up.
Well, I wanted to. I wanted to include you. I wanted to be inclusive on the podcast.
Oh, that's all good. And we love being inclusive.
Yeah.
There was a League of Legends esports tournament that just ended recently.
Who won?
I don't know.
Good for them.
Yeah, exactly. Good for them. Also, I think sucks for. I think it was like I could be butchering this, but I think it was like the one dude kept getting to the finals and never won it, and then finally won it.
That's tough.
I think that's how it worked.
The Discord mod weight is an entirely
not really esports, but the new Pokemon game comes out tomorrow too.
Yo!
So be tuned. But I think that's gonna end it for this episode of This Week in Sports. If you liked what we had here, guys, just like talking about some recent games, please let us know. Big football games coming up, big basketball games coming up in the future. So stay tuned, and that'll be it for the podcast. So drop a like, do the thing, and see you next time.
Ryan Daboll's Coach of the Year.